Hello there.
Welcome back, my friend.
Hello, what have we here?
From Jedi, we've been expecting you.
Knew I could count on you.
Hello.
Welcome to the rebellion. What fun!
What is up, everyone? Hybrid Toy Reviews here, and today I am so excited to talk to you about a new case of Carbonites. This is a case that is dropping today, March 4th, and I am so excited to get the word out. It is March, therefore it is the season of the action figure community March Madness. There are many a March Madness going on. You may have seen my video yesterday plugging Blitz Transmissions, Black Series Order 66 themed one. There's a bunch of other channels that do them, and this Carbonites case is a collaboration with the SWTVC March Madness. It is the big vintage collection March Madness poll that you see go on every year, and this is a really, really fun collaboration that Vincent was able to work out with the guys, and he put a lot of work into all of these, and I am oh so excited to share why this character selection is going on, because it is a unique character selection for sure. One of these 6 Carbonites is a very special Carbonite in its own right. It's very different from any other Carbonite you may have ever seen. So that said, let's go ahead and take a close look at this package before jumping into the review. Taking a close look at this case of Carbonites, it is very standard Carbonites packaging. It's the box that's used on all of them, but it's the graphics that make it unique. You have your March Madness 2026, and then the 6 characters included pictured here with Vincent's fancy signature on the front. The spine of the box shows it as number 2. I believe that indicates that it's Collab case number 2. I don't promise that. And then the 6 characters are all represented on the spine as well as the front. You have your March Madness 2026 2026. Around back, you have some information about the product. However, if you want thorough information about the inspiration of Carbonites, I do recommend you just going to the Carbonites website, where Vincent has documented the evolution of the product very thoroughly. Carbonites, or SWTVC on both sides. That's a unique sticker. See, he got me fumbled there. Over on this side is the thumb tab to help you open it up. Pull up to secure the bounty. Carbonites encased. Opening it up, we have the standard Han and Carbonite wax paper going on. You open that up, and there is a letter. There's always a letter in your case of Carbonites, but pulling this one out, it talks about Vincent. It gives him a shout out. You get a shout out for the SWTVC YouTube and Instagram pages, Mile High Ground, the Vintage Concepts, SW Collector 375, and the Space Hut. And there's a super classy, originally handwritten but then scanned, "Thanks for joining in on the madness. Hashtag keep 375 alive, the SWTVC team." Super, super cool. And then around this side is the standard note that you would get from Vincent. "Dear March Madness contributor, greetings, exalted one." Very, very cool. And then I've just always loved, this is a very fun part of any case of Carbonites. Looking inside from there, you have your 6 characters. Now, if you pull the tissue paper, it wraps underneath of them. You could dump them out that way. However, I have generally found that they pour very nicely. Let's take a close look at everything happening here. Here we have the 6 Carbonites out on the table, and we're going to quickly talk about the mint in the box. It is my favorite gag that Vincent does. It is a collector's play on words where we talk about mint in the boxes in packaging condition. However, included in every case of Carbonites is a Han and Carbonite packed mint in the box. It is one of those wintergreen Lifesavers mints, and they are oh so delicious. One of my favorite things to get in my Carbonites, other than the Carbonites themselves. So, looking at this character assortment, you're probably looking at it like, wow, what a case, you know, and some of them are at least era similar. However, let me break down the logic. This March Madness has been rolling every year since 2021, and these represent the winners, the character that the community came together and said would be the next best figure to get in the line, and some of them have actually come true. So Bo-Katan won the poll in 2021, and a Mandalorian figure of her was made. And then Black Chrysanthemum won in 2022, and we got the Book of Boba Fett version, and I believe TVC also got a Comic-Con one that had some of the comic book accessories with it. Count Dooku won in 2023, and he recently got an Attack of the Clones figure a year or two ago. Pong Krell won in 2024, and he has not come yet. However, there's always rumblings of Pong Krell. He's a very popular pick in both the TVC and Black Series communities. And then last year in 2025, Mara Jade won the poll. And then off to the side with Ben Solo there. Is that just Ben Solo? The Ben Solo Carbonite represents the guys' choices of who they would like to win this year, their personal most wanted. And we are going to start by taking a look at that because it is a very unique Carbonite. The top features the SWTVC Heritage Scale logo. It's very cool. It's Darth Vader's severed hand holding his lightsaber, and I like that a lot. And spinning the Carbonite around, what? You got 4 unique faces going on here. And then below that is the March Madness Top 25 Submissions for number 6. This is the 6th year doing it. So the explanation for these is Ben Solo is Mile High Ground's personal preference. Rook from the Legends appearance is SW Collector 375's preference. Dryden Voss is the Space Hut's preferred winner. And then Simalu is the Vintage Concepts preferred character. Those are who the guys would like to see win. However, it's ultimately going to come out to the community and who they vote for. But this is a really, really cool Carbonite. Vincent confirmed to me in conversation that Ben Solo is the first, I believe it's the first sequel Carbonite in general, but it's the first Rise of Skywalker for sure. And then Simalu, a little bit of a deep cut, from the original trilogy on the Death Star, but very, very well done. Dryden Voss, I believe, is also a first-time appearance for a solo Carbonite. And then Rook being in a Legends version instead of the Rebels version. Probably wasn't high on Vincent's list of something to do generally, but in conversation he did say that this does give him a jump start on these characters for when the time ultimately is right. And that's really, really cool. I told him that if you don't recognize it from the front, it doesn't matter what the side looks like, and that is correct. So, just getting the silhouettes correct is very important. And I gotta say, he's done a very nice job. That is a very recognizable Ben Solo, Rook, very, very recognizable Dryden Voss, and then Simalu. So, very cool Carbonite. This is like the special one. So, setting him aside, let's go ahead and work our way through them. So, Bo-Katan has been done in the Mandalorian lineup. However, this is an upgraded version. Vincent spent a ton of time, he was telling me, working on the weathering. I've mentioned it before. Sometimes you get a case of Carbonites that's an older design, and then you compare it to the newer designs. And Vincent is getting better at these Carbonites by the case. And it's just natural. The more you practice your craft, the more it will evolve and upgrade. And that's what's happened here. Is he's gone back, and this Bo-Katan is just a drastic improvement over the old one. And the old one was a very recognizable Bo-Katan. It wasn't a bad attempt. It's just where he was 2 or 3 years ago. Looking at this one, I said on the Empire Strikes Back Bounty Hunters case, the Carbonite Hunters case, that the Boba Fett in that case was the hot toys of Carbonites, and this Bo-Katan is really fighting for that. I really love the weathering going on that Night Owl helmet. All the subtle scuffs are excellent. Her belt has turned out awesome here. Her shoulder pad, and then the bit of gray sleeve up above the darker gray lower sleeve there with the stitching in it. I mean, come on, Vincent, you never miss. Still have some battle damage on the side of the helmet, the back of the helmet, on her jetpack. Just supremely cool stuff here. This is an incredibly well done attempt at Bo-Katan. And on the bottom, instead of having a character name, it's just the March Madness logo from the first year. That is very, very cool. Setting Bo-Katan down, coming over here to Black Chrysanthemum. Again, same story. The Book of Boba Fett Carbonites are a little bit dated, and so coming back and refreshing Black Chrysanthemum, this is such a visual upgrade, one that I didn't even know that I needed. But Chrysanthemum looks excellent. He has some really great textures going on, implying the shagginess of his hair. The scarring around his eye is supremely awesome. The graying around like the mustache beard and the eyebrows, just to really accentuate the facial features. Very great stuff. The braids in the beard going down to his armor plates. Look at those spikes on the shoulder pads. They just jump out at you in this 2D fashion. I love everything going on here. This is a very, very good attempt at a black chrysanthemum. I don't know what Vincent could do to improve on this. I mean, the art has just evolved phenomenally. Looking at the top, more hair texture. Underneath, you have the March Madness bracket logo from the second year, 2022. 2023's winner was Count Dooku, and Count Dooku looks excellent. He is holding his ignited red lightsaber, and something that I like is the curvature of the lightsaber has been represented, as well as the claw near the emitter. Very, very important details on his lightsaber. Count Dooku is using his signature look of superiority, if you know that meme. Very, very intense staring there going on. However, I love he's got the details down, even to the little mole on his temple and over by his hairline there. Just very, very nicely done. The black suit underneath is very nice with the brown for the belt, and the cape with the chain being represented nicely with the links of the clasp. Going around, the cape billows over, and you got his big Count Dooku ear going on. His hair goes around back. Cape, just very fine details. And I love the line work implying the slicked back hair that Dooku rocks. Very nice. And that's the March Madness logo from 2023. Very, very well done. Here we have Pong Krell, who doesn't have a figure yet, as I said, but is the winner for 2024. It takes Hasbro a minute to make these things. Don't worry, it's coming, right? But Pong Krell looks excellent. He is holding his double-bladed lightsabers, both of them ignited, and they look very, very good. He has a clone murdering grimace going on there, and the reptilian features of like the scale work going over the top of his head are very nicely represented. And then coming back to his ponytail, you have the textured skin of his arms. His upper arms are holding the lightsabers. The lower arms with the gauntlets are just hanging low. He's got the Jedi tunic look going on, and just the bulbous chin hanging out. It's a very complex design, and Vincent did a phenomenal job at bringing him to life in the Carbonites lineup, and I really, really like how he turned out. Great work, Vincent. There's the March Madness logo from 2K24, because he was the 2024 winner. And then finally, we have Mara Jade, who might be one of the first Legends Carbonites. I don't promise that, but it's just a very, very nice adaptation of her Legends look. She is holding her lit purple lightsaber, and she's slightly grimacing looking. I like the freckles going on under the eyes, and then the crazy red hair blowing all over the place. This is a similar outfit that we got in the Black Series version, where she's got the scarf and then the goggles down under the scarf. A lot of straps going on. You got the belt, the Rebel hexagon, like belt shape there, octagon, but like the stretched octagon. I know my geometry, it just takes me a second. Very, very nice adaptation of the Mara Jade design, and very recognizable as Mara Jade. No difficulty there. Nice hair texturing, even up top. Below that is the March Madness 5, because it was from 2025 and the 5th year of them doing it. So it is a very, very well done case. Like I said, a unique assortment of characters, but there's got to be something in this case for you. As always, I like showing off Carbonites next to other collectibles, because Carbonites are very complementary to other collectibles. You don't have to only collect Carbonites. It would be cool if that was your collectible of choice. However, I just like showing off, Carbonites are really cool. You can grab a case and get some characters that you really like. You can grab multiple cases and make a big display. But if you've got a big action figure display like I do, you can just scatter them around the room. One guy here, one guy there. They're collection enhancers. Or if you're in a small space, maybe you have a little cubicle at work and you'd like to just enhance it with a little bit of Star Wars flavor without being otherwise space occupying, maybe a case of Carbonites would be good for that too. And there's so many ways to have fun with Carbonites, and here they are next to a litany of other things to collect, just to give you an idea that you can just have fun with your toys. That's what it's all about in the end. So end of the day, what do I think of this collab case? I really like it. The 4-character special block is a special block indeed, and one that I like having in the collection a good deal. The 5 previous winners are very fun, and I think that there are some great upgrades and some great new versions of characters for the collection if you've been collecting Carbonites for a little while. And I think this case ultimately is one you should pick up. And if you're interested in picking it up, you should do it very soon. This is a limited run case. At the end of the month, when the March Madness is done, so is this case. You have about a month to get it until the end of March, and that's kind of just going to be when the plug gets pulled on this. So don't sleep on it. If it's something that you'd like, go for it. And something that Vincent clarified, and I knew to be the case, but just to make public knowledge, is these characters are not locked in this case. They have that special foot on the bottom of them. These characters are not stuck here. They will come out in other ways ultimately down the road. Pong Krell, they're very easily could be an Umbara case, and you're not gonna not get Pong Krell because he was here. Maybe he'll be different. Maybe the green and blues will be switched from side to side. That way, it's a little bit of a flavor difference. Or maybe he won't have his lightsabers lit in a particular version. Same with Dooku. Maybe he just won't have the saber lit. Maybe it'll be in his other hand. Whatever he elects to do to make it just a smidge different. And yeah, it's just a really, really fun case. It's basically a way to get some early looks at some future Carbonites, special variants of some future Carbonites, and a great way to express interest in the SWTVC March Madness. Go ahead and go check them out. I will have them linked in the description below, same as Carbonites, and I hope you participate in their polls and vote, and may the best vintage collection future figure win. So that's all I got to say. Thank you so much for listening to me ramble about SWTVC March Madness and Carbonites. May the Force be with you. I will see you next time. Until then, bye.